Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Less than two crew squad. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome into another Friday. It's a Pooya Friday up in here. It's the pad. You already know what we do. But for the uninitiated, tonight's the night I get to talk to all of you one-on-one. You can ask any and all questions. Everything is allowed. If you're curious about things, if you have questions you want answers to, if you have curiosities about things you may not know about, or you just want to get some advice from me, whether it's because you think I am capable of giving you any assistance, or if you're just curious what my thoughts are on a topic, you are more than allowed to do so. It can be about podcasts, it can be about shows, it can be about TV, it can be about people, it can be about relationships. Everything is allowed tonight, subject to not being weird. Okay? But everything's allowed. So, oh yeah. I forgot about my music, I'm not going to lie. It's because I had it low in my ears. It sucks because I did a very good intro. So if you missed it, basically, welcome to the pad. This is where I get to talk to all of you one-on-one about any and all topics. If you're new here, any topic is allowed. Feel free to come through with anything. You want advice, you can get that. If you have curiosities about what I do, you can ask that. If you have curiosity about my opinion on anything, that's also allowed. Just don't make it a weird question. Okay? Without any further ado, though, let me just say hello to the early chatters real quick, and then let's hop right into everything. Liv, welcome in. Kalita, Ro, Jimmy in the building. What's good? Ichiyami, thank you for the prime. So welcome back for month number 25. Thank you for using your one prime on me, Ichiyami. I really do appreciate it. What's good? What's good? Hello. Russ in the building. We got Braden in the building. Jen, AJ, what's up? Casey, Rob with two B's. Chalet, Larissa. Hello. HKL girl says, I love that as a safe space to hate on hard-boiled eggs. Yes. Especially to which the volume and speed people eat them in the castle in Scotland. Daisy, welcome in. Katie, hello. Jinx, what's good? Botswats in the building. We got AZ, Gina Elizabeth, the 22 months. Thank you so much, Gina. Thank you. Valencia, what's up? Welcome in. Found out earlier the race I was supposed to do on Sundays canceled due to weather. Oh no, I'm all right about it though. Hope everyone's good. Well, welcome in, Valencia. Sorry your race is canceled. Do they reschedule those things, or is it just like you have to wait for the next time? Cupcakes, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. We're having a good night. Jenna Lee, what's good? Rob with the 2Bs, 15 stream streak. Thank you so much. Liv with 40 stream streak. Okay, Liv, you out here watching all the streams. AZ with the holy 10 gifted. Thank you so much, AZ. Welcome to Lindo, Riley, Thunder Thor, Super Smashlin, Stevie, Safe Paper, Jen, Artemis Frost, Steph, and LDD. We're not part of the Lesson 2 crew. Once again, compliments of AZ. If you're in the chat, drop an email one time. Sure appreciation to AZ for bringing you through. Welcome in. Kansas, hello. Jen, hello. Monkey Boy Wilson, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I forgot it was Friday. Happy Pad, everyone. Happy Pad to you too, Tomster. Welcome in. AJ on the 30 stream. Thank you so much, AJ. Appreciate it. The Milan Olympics start next week. Yes, the Winter Olympics are among us. Eggs, bacon, strips, sausage. I know what song that is. I know how that goes. Soja, hello. This is when y'all said turn down the music, and we did, so that's good. Canada Biscuits, thank you for the 40 stream streak. Appreciate it. Love to have all in the pal. Thank you, Enter. I'm happy you enjoyed it. Can I get an air kiss? I do that, AZ, but then I'd get accused of murdering you. And then I'd get banished, so maybe not. Kellyanne, welcome in. Lamb diggity dang dong was good. How you doing? Sarah Lynn, appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed the pal this week. It was a very fun pal. We heard the intro is really good. Okay, good. I'm happy to hear it. I ran it back a little bit, but first question, what do I feel like being the third wheel in the Rob Jam interview? I'm sure this is going to be one of the main questions of the night, so we can definitely talk about it for sure. It'll be a good night for sure, Kellyanne. It will be. Almost done with my first week of the new job. Congrats, McKenna. Congrats. I like a hard-boiled egg in ramen, deviled eggs, and salads only. Okay. It's wild they eat them solo. I mean, that's like their main source of protein. They need their protein. The players yearn for the protein, apparently. You can do it in another city if you can, or do it virtually. Got you. HRH, welcome in. Hello. They should do Scotch eggs for breakfast. What is Scotch eggs, Daisy? I was listening to an audiobook all day, neglected all my podcasts. Have to catch up tomorrow. Musketeer, you missed a weird one. You missed a weird day. Protein is sadly very accurate. C Daily. Hi, Pooya. I missed the stream yesterday and haven't had the chance to watch it. We get a TLDR of your thoughts of last night's episode, C Daily? Like of last night's Traitors, you mean? Lauren, welcome in. Ground meat with an egg in the middle. That's then deep fried. Protein right there. Thoughts on the Jam interview? In a second, I'll tell you. Yes. My TLDR on the Traitors last night was a very fun episode. I think if you went in genuinely expecting it to be the most blockbuster moment in Traitors history, you're going to feel a little bit let down. I think they overhyped it and they under-delivered. I personally think they edited stuff out of what actually happened. That's my prediction. I think based on what not even just Alan was saying, a lot of the players were saying, it sounded like this was good. This was a massive night that I think ended up being very under-edited. Of which things we can speculate on, but I think it was still fun. A fun episode. I think it's been a very fun season. Very, very fun season so far. Those tents in the room, 100% you could. Yes. Soft-boiled egg covered with sausage. Bearded and deep fried? You mean breaded, AC? Okay, you mean breaded, yeah. I was like, what's a bearded sausage? Actually, I don't... No. We never did get flashback to Jam touching the pendant, did we? Not that I doubt it. We did. We saw him help her put the brooch back. Or like help with the back of the brooch. We did see the flashback. The banquet, I think, should have been most of the episode, but wasn't. I read Mike Bloom's interview where the Jam stated where his claim about the kiss came from. You'll have to go back. Yeah, no, it's I remember that part for sure. Okay, well, let me just quickly have the form open in front of me as well. All right. So let's talk about first, probably, this interview that happened today. The exit with one Jam that happened. It might have been the weirdest interview I've been a part of so far. And I was on an interview with Sam Asghari last year that went a little south. When did I bring this Coke up here? Just an unopened soda sitting here. I guess I can have this later. Had my shot of whiskey over in the interview. Yeah. So first of all, I feel like the number one thing y'all want to know is what was cut out, right? I can tell you this much. There wasn't like an argument or anything that got cut out. There wasn't. Things that were cut out were things that were said about times where the cameras weren't rolling, as in things that may not have been on the show. That's stuff that was cut out. There was no like beefing or fighting or anything. As far as I'm concerned, every quote unquote beefish interaction that happened, you heard and saw. I love Rob's callback. Russ, I told him he should open with that. I was like, I think it'll be very fun if you open with that. When we did the recap last night. But yeah, it was one of those things where I very quickly understood my assignment, which was this is not about you here. So let other people speak. This is about these two people speaking. I still ask my questions when I had my openings. But other than that, it was very interesting because I felt like my personal feeling is I was like, I don't think these two have spoken before, or in a minute, right? And that definitely came across. And I'm very curious what happens at the reunion now. But yeah, it was a very different interaction to what I'm used to on an interview. And actually, I do see the first question in the form is about exit interviews a little bit, so we can talk about that a little deeper. But yeah, it was, I don't know. I've been reading the comments about it. A lot of people felt uncomfortable watching it. I didn't feel uncomfortable in the room. Like, I didn't feel awkward. I could tell it was a tense conversation at points, but at no point did I feel like, ugh, I wish I wasn't here. You know, I was in the front row. I was fine. I was exactly where I needed to be, you know? And I also feel like Jam Jam was very unfiltered. As in, if anyone thinks that Jam Jam would have selectively said or not said things, depending on whether we were recording or not, I think that's false. Very clear. It was very clear to me from the first response we got from him that Jam Jam is going to speak his mind, which I did appreciate, actually. I didn't feel like the gif of Homer Simpson. No. I felt like, insert gif of someone eating popcorn at a movie theater, more so. Because at the end of the day, these are two adults that I have interacted with both personally. One a lot more than the other, obviously. But I was like, this isn't a thing where these two, like, absolutely hate each other's guts and are going to go on, like, the challenge over it, you know? Like, it didn't feel like that to me. It definitely felt like, hey, both sides seem like not happy with certain things that happen amongst them. But not to the degree of, like, absolute disgust and human disdain. Like, if I was doing this podcast with Dan Giesling and Johnny Bananas was our guest, I would feel awkward. That is because one person in that too, like, literally wants to squash the other person and still has nightmares about the other person, essentially. So it would have been lame if they held back. It's not that serious. Yeah. And, like, obviously a professional, both of them, by the way, because Rob, got us the interview. Jam Jam approved to come on to come onto the network for the interview. So kudos to both. It ain't that deep, I don't think. But that's my take on it. My honest feelings on it. So I do not think the reunion has filmed. No. Laura with the 40 stream streak. Thank you, Laura, for watching. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, you gave me a link for a Scotch egg. The fuck is this? Okay. It's breaded. Hard-boiled egg wrapped in seasoned pork, double breadcrumbed, and deep fried. Okay. I'm messing with it. I'd mess with that. Well, it's going to be interesting for the reunion, though, Cupcakes, because there's a lot of ways they could go, right? Obviously, the core thing that's going to be focused on, for sure, is the Lisa versus Rob versus Candace. That's probably going to happen now. That's going to be the main focus. As much as I hate it, and I know y'all hate it too, we're going to have too much Michael Rappaport if he ends up showing up to the reunion. They're going to focus entirely too much on Michael Rappaport. They're going to have Andy ask some stupid, at Jennifer on Twitter, on X, asks, Michael, why do you eat like that? And it's like, bro, we've been through this for like 2 months now. Move on. Ask more pressing questions. So that's going to happen. It is what it is. And I'm thinking what else we're gonna be talking about. I feel like they're gonna ship Mora and Rob probably also, which is like bleh. No, I know you wouldn't, Jen. You're a real one. You're a real one, real one. Hi, Pad, y'all. A lot of lurking tonight. I'm picking. I'm pick up workout. Oh, you pick up workout at 6 a.m. tomorrow, so can't stay super late. Hey, responding. No worries. Appreciate you being here all the same. Hopefully you have fun in the lurk mode. Hopefully we have a good time in your ears. I've seen reunions lately hosted by Andy. Ranges from meh to awkward. Yeah, he's not my favorite as a host option. I just feel like the host should still be Alan Cumming. I don't know why that's not the case. Like, it should be someone who was there. This isn't like 90 Day Fiancé where there's no host. The entirety of the cast is actively around Alan daily. Alan's the one person that's seen them all around the castle daily. Why is it not the one person that's seen them all interact? Why? Unless he doesn't want to do it. Or they want to pay Alan. Which traitor you give the edge to take out the other, Rob or Candace? This is a very interesting question to me. I think there's a big camp that just thinks Rob has this. I don't think Candace goes down without a fight. We did the numbers on the pod last night, and I think that it's a lot more balanced than people think. Genuinely. I think there's a lot more people on the Candace side than people think about. Dorinda, Johnny, Tara, that's already 3. We talked about on the other side, there's Colton, Mora, probably Natalie on this side, honestly, with Rob. The Dagger 6, I feel like you should take into consideration are Team Rob, but I think there's people that Johnny can sway, and that group that was looking at Colton could very well just go back to revisit Colton again. So that's something to keep in mind. I think it's very tough. I feel like we were robbed of realizing or thinking about what's going to happen because of the fact that we got cliffhangered on the turret, because I think the turret would have been very telling. I think that, and whether this was intentional or not, I feel like Candace voting for Rob is almost a, hey, you better work with me, because if you let them push me out now and you pushed out Lisa, who was a traitor, they're going to look back at the fact that I voted for you that one time, and that could be a problem for you. Again, I don't think it was intentional like that, but I think that it should be treated like a bit of a handcuff, and I still think the two could work together. I just don't think they're going to trust each other, which is fine. He voted her, she voted him, so he's not going to trust her, but also he pushed a traitor out 2 weeks in a row, 2 cycles in a row. So that's not going to happen. Oh, Dorinda. Sorry. The other number on this side is Dorinda that I may have missed on the Candace's side. Rob R for Survivor. I mean, I think he would. I think they would love him, and I think he would thrive. Potentially. I think the problem is, I think, and this is the thing that happens with players who go on these shows. Once your threat level is there, can you do well? Rob Roush is now arguably, like, I've been seeing discourse about Rob Roush being the best trader we've had since Suri on the US franchise, which I think, let's wait and see how the season ends, but is definitely worth the conversation to be had. So does Rob Roush just go on Survivor and is a known entity do well? I don't know. My complaint of the season is Alan feels less authentic. I used to be so high on him. I feel like he's the same as last season for me. I don't feel like he's been any different. I feel like for me, his first season is when I did not get authentic Alan at all, you know? Gerard, welcome in. My complaint of this, I just read that. I haven't watched a single episode this season, LOL. Did they give them the chance to recruit last night? It hasn't been brought up because we got cliffhangered in the turret. I imagine they have the option to recruit, and I imagine they do not recruit because they're not going to agree on the same name. I think Third Unknown Trader is probably winning this. I think Rob is being taken down by this fight. Probably not immediately, but eventually. We'll see if they do get a Third Unknown. Do you think there will be the same situation with Rob and Candace choosing a recruit like what happened at the very beginning of Traitors Canada? I doubt it. Although this is the first time we've had the opportunity for a recruitment in a minute. So do they do it or not? Remains to be seen. Please visit Colton. I mean, it'd be so sad for Rob to lose his bestie. If somehow, if Candace would be willing to let Colton be recruited by them and they push out Colton, that could patch things up between both of them. It could also help Rob. Maybe not anymore. Maybe he's too deep in with Rob now. But if I'm Candace, I let Colton come in here and I hard push him out. You know? I think that would be a good shout. That may be the only way I agree with a recruitment, because I don't think Rob's going to let her bring anyone she's close with into the turret. That's my jam. I do love this song. I want Dorinda out. Housewives fans, this might be insulting, and I apologize. I'm just going off of what I've seen. Dorinda's a flop. They insisted her to be brought back, and she has been a dud this season for me. Like a big dud. Like, I'm telling you, I feel like Kristen Kish has had more storyline. I feel like Eric Nam has had more storyline at this point. She has been such a under the radar player. And like, that's not fun, especially when you know you've been promised something big. So yeah. Although I don't love this for the prospect of the early boots being like, for example, I think Rob has done enough for himself that if he was to be brought back, like, it would be a possibility. But like, also, does production just go now, well, last time we brought back an early boot, it didn't really matter. So maybe we just don't do that. Who knows? But I do think, based on what Ron Funches has been saying, I think Dorinda has been like saying some unsavory things about Ron, and they edited it out, which I'm like, bro, if we're editing stuff out of this show, why is it the drama? Like, do we really had to get like 3 hours worth of deplorable footage from Michael Rappaport? Why? My wife is quitting after Natalie's gone. She likes Rob Roush, but other than Nat and him, she dislikes everyone else. Damn. Authentic Alan will always be in Nightcrawler makeup for me. That was the first role I saw him as. I think the first role I saw him in was in Spy Kids. I think he was in Spy Kids, right? I'm not making that up. I mean, some people might not appreciate his camp. It's possible. I mean, some people might not. I just read that. Who do you want next as a traitor? Let's look at the cast. That's my little buddy. I have not made a graphic. Rob did not want, was like, we don't need graphics for the pod, so I've not been updating my graphics, but here's a graphic I still have from before. Dear God, what is this? Why is it super? Okay, you know what? There we go. That's good enough, right? There. Sure. Who would I like to see as a traitor? I feel like Natalie's not a bad shout. And Natalie's a team player, so she would be like, yeah, let's work together. Like, if you want a glue that can maybe pull them all together, it's Natalie. I just don't see that happening. But I think Natalie would be a good addition. I think you got to ask yourself, why do you want them? Who do you want your new trader to be? Do you want them to be someone who is underrated? Do you want them to win the season? Do you want them to go far? Do you want them to be immediately kicked out? All these factors go in. Maura Higgins would be a phenomenal trader. And then in the event that like Candace does leave, a Maura and Rob duo trader win would be satisfying to me. If it's a push him out immediately and successfully, Colton, get the hell out. You're going to put him in there just to kick him out. So maybe those are my picks. I kind of don't want a trader to be brought in who is going to outlast the other two and win at this point. Because, and I say this lovingly, I don't think anyone who has played this game so far deserves that. And by deserve is a deep word, obviously. Who the fuck am I to say deserve? But like, for me, it wouldn't be as satisfying of an end game if, like, say, they bring in Kristen Kish at this stage and Kristen Kish wins because Candace is pushing for Rob, Rob is pushing for Candace, and they both take each other out. That's kind of where I am right now, ish. I don't think Rob and Candace will seduce at all. This season, the meta is shifting to not seduce like season. I think that there's just more pressing things to do, like murder. I think the only way they do seduce is if they both have a friend that they're very equally close to that they would want to bring in. Otherwise, I feel like once you have a divide, and once it is a traitor on traitor divide, you're not going to trust the other person or let someone come in. Unless you're trying to frame them. If they don't recruit, will the faithfuls just pick up on it? Because if they don't recruit, there's also no murder? Or would they still murder? No, they will still murder. So the way recruitment works earlier in the game, and this is a little bit finicky because they could change the rules at any point. So if they had if we go into next episode and like Alan says you have the opportunity to recruit, then you're gambling your kill. Because then it's like, okay, I want to recruit Steven. They send Steven an invite. Steven says, no, thank you. They don't get Steven and they can't murder. Or they get Steven and they can't murder. Either way, they cannot murder if they choose to recruit at this stage. If it's one traitor left in the turret, they will be allowed to recruit and murder most likely. Just to keep the game moving. It also really depends on their schedule and where they're at in the schedule. I'm honestly surprised Dorinda's been so quiet, like very quiet. I just have to think the editing thing has to have happened. Okay, if Colton makes it to the final fire, as a traitor, say with Rob R, I have to believe he's getting voted out just after everything before they finish the fire ceremony. I just do not think Colton Underwood has won this season of the Traitors simply because he has deleted everything mentioned about Traitors in his bio, in his photos. That's what I was told. So you don't do that if you're about to become the latest champion in the franchise. You know what I mean? So they apparently had to edit out a lot of what they were in. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking is potentially what happened. It'd be weird seeing Johnny compete against himself. Traitors Johnny versus Olympics commentator Johnny. That's my theory for the banquet, is that what if Tara, because Tara, even when they did the people interview with Tara, Candace, Rob, Monet, and Steven, Tara called out the highlighted moment for her this season being the banquet. So clearly it was like she had been born at the banquet. And where was it? I have to imagine my world is like, okay, maybe they edited stuff out because the Olympics are coming up and I don't know, but I'm like, come on, man. Like that was supposed to be your best banger moment. Why would you cut it out? What did you cut out? Surprised how many people they showed at the roundtable in next week's preview. Was too lazy to go back and write them all down. Was wondering if they recruit because of that. I just don't see it. I just really don't see them doing so. Although we can, because there was no shield this round, right? Just the dagger. So I can quickly look at it and tell you who I don't see. Like, I think logically, I think that they're not going to recruit. I would be very surprised if these two were able to put things aside and agree on one name to both recruit together. You know? Like, I just would be very surprised to see that. Ron is saying Dorinda's conscious bias. Yes, I did see that. Okay, one of Johnny or Tara could be interesting for Endgame. That could be interesting because they can't win together. And I feel like they really want to win together. So I would be very intrigued by that prospect. This is a game no one deserves to win or lose. I don't agree with that. I think there's definitely... Oh, you mean Traitors is a game. No one deserves to win or lose. Yeah, I say, maybe I shouldn't have said deserved. It won't be a satisfying ending to me. Like if Mark Ballas wins as a traitor, that's an unsatisfying win for me right now. That's kind of how I feel more so. Can we talk about Traitors UK finale yet? I don't think yet. Robin Candace will not seduce similar to Carolyn Danielle. Yes, that's what I think as well. Manny, first time chat says, where are you from? What do you mean by that, Manny? What are you asking me, friend? What are you asking me? In what context? All right, let me see. Who am I seeing in? Kristen, Natalie, they're both there. Maura's there. They're the only ones I've seen so far. Kristen, Natalie, Maura. Johnny's there. Dorinda is there. That's it. So still a lot of people not mentioned. I guess also Robin. Oh yeah, you know what? We're not left with a lot of people at that point. So who didn't we see? We didn't see Tara. We didn't see Colton at all, actually. We didn't see... I have this graphic sitting somewhere in front of me. Okay, so we didn't see Eric. We didn't see Mark. We didn't see Tara. We didn't see Steven. We didn't see Colton. So we didn't see 5 people out of the 12 that are there. So still a lot of people that could get murdered. AZ with the 5 gifted. Thank you, AZ. Huck, Be Subtle, Samantha, Tex, and Lamb, Diggity Dang Dog. Welcome and compliments, AZ. AZ, thank you so much for the generosity. I do appreciate it. I really do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You do that if you're a whiny baby who can't handle the consequences of the actions you took. Right. There were a large amount of faithful shown in the preview. Well, yeah, we just went through that. That's perfect. I would love to see a recruited traitor when it's something rare. Without telling you what show, we have seen it. And I was satisfied there. This crop, I would not be as satisfied as of right now. Because right now, I feel like they don't have an obstacle really, unless they are someone that's being brought in with a lot of sus on them. But I don't want to see a Colton Underwood traitor win. You know? Because, like, for example, if Eric Nam gets recruited, homie just has to sit there and let these two take each other out and then reap the benefits, which is not as fun to me. What if Tara and Johnny are the final 2? Like at the final bonfire, they say somehow vote everyone out till they're the last 2. That would be fun. Oh, to me, I use the word motor. Yeah, deserve. Yeah, I feel like it's more satisfaction for me than deserved. Yeah. Jamina, thank you for the 38 months. Appreciate you. Thank you. I know it will probably happen, but I want a Colton murder so badly. Do you want him to be murdered, or do you want him to be like hella accused and voted out at the round table? Or do you just want to unceremoniously murdered in the night? A recruited traitor would need to actively throw the other 2 under the bus and win solo to feel satisfying. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, if the new person comes in and helps get rid of both, that'd be fun. All right, so let's go back to the form as well, because I do have that, and I've not been answering questions from the form. So let me just keep an eye on that as well over here. I've noticed you are a great listener. Oh, only 2 questions in the form. So if you want to put a question in the forum chat, go ahead. I've noticed you're a great listener on podcasts and in exit interviews. Well, thank you. Do you find that skill comes naturally, or is it something you've had to intentionally practice, particularly when you're working within time constraints? For me, I was always a good listener. If anything, I'll be honest with you, I think I'm getting worse at being a good listener. But on podcasts, I'm not interacting with anything for the most part that isn't podcast related. So I'm actively, like, if I'm responding to something in the chat, it's to do with the podcast. If I'm looking at, my separate tab, I'm looking at the season wiki, or I'm looking at my notes. So it allows me to stay engaged. And I think a lot of listening to I feel like listening to podcasts through headphones and like listening to things through headphones makes you laser and focus on them. But I think that then it's equally harder to listen to, let's say, a podcast when it's on loudspeaker, because there's a lot of stuff going on and it's not like inside your ears, like, you know, speaking to you. You have to pay attention. And I've listened to a lot of podcasts through loudspeaker before. So that also has allowed me to be a little bit more attentive. So yeah, I've always been content with, like, I am a chatter. I talk a lot. Y'all know this. I do this with streams. I'm talking out loud into a room with no vocal feedback for hours. But I could just as easily sit there and listen to someone speak for hours. I've had phone calls that have lasted 7 hours. And they were just hangout calls, you know, just chilling. So I've had a lot of practice. That being said, you did have a second part to your question, which was, I assume during exit interviews, there are times when you want to respond to something said or want to ask a follow-up but are not able to. Absolutely, you're right. There were a lot of questions that I've not been able to ask any of the players that have left the game this season because we have a very limited amount of time with them, and the time gets taken up talking about other stuff, and I'm like, shit, I want to ask this thing, but now I can't. It's a little bit different also with like this versus say Traitors Canada. I feel like Traitors Canada, we have a lot more leeway. They give us a lot more of leg room to work with. So if we need to ask extra questions, we usually can. And we sent it to them, and it's subject to what they respond with. Like, yeah, you can post that, or no, you cannot remove this part. But we have a lot more wiggle room. Whereas with Peacock, I think they go through a lot more publications than Canada might. So it's a lot more truncated. It's a lot more limited. It's a lot more stringent on, hey, your time is up, you gotta go, you know? So it's a little bit more tough. I think also for, you know, with the Canada, with me and Scally, we are in a situation where we don't know these people. Like, we're on the same level with them. Whereas like Rob knows these people. Rob has interacted with these people. This is Rob's season. So I think Rob has some questions in mind that he wants to ask that might not be on my radar. And I might have some questions I want to ask, which might not be on Rob's radar, which then it just comes down to timing and how much time we have for the stuff. You were doing an excellent job last night monitoring the chat while talking about the show. I cannot believe, I was very surprised that there were no mods last night in the chat, because this one person was just mouthing off and being so fucking annoying. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna cuss them out. I'm gonna remove them. And then they kept trying to make accounts to keep up with me. It was cute. I want Johnny to confidently oppose Colton and be wrong. My only worry about that is that Johnny does that, pushes Colton out, Colton's good, and then Johnny then stops moving his feet. I'm not saying I want to enjoy him being ripped apart by the faithful mob as a man who crowned himself king, but the most important part is never seeing his face again. Fair. So of the 5 possible murders, Rob wouldn't allow Maura or Colton, and Candace wouldn't allow Johnny or Tara. Does that mean, Tara wasn't in the 5, it was Steven. Steven is also there. I think Steven or Eric, but Steven has a lot of some sus on him. So I think Eric is honestly someone I could see getting murdered. I could absolutely see Eric getting murdered. Eric was high on my list of possibilities for this week's murder. So yeah, Eric makes sense to me. And like Eric's story, I feel like at this point has been fulfilled. He is part of the Shield, the Dagger 6, but if you're Rob, you have the dagger, and you a dagger 5 with the 1 vote kicker at a final 11 is still 6 votes. If it's a tie, and I think he still probably feels good about some of his options there, of the other people left in as well. Like, who's in the 6 that, he has Maura. So remove Eric, put Maura into the Dagger 6, and that's his numbers right there. He probably feels good about it. So Eric could absolutely be the one gone. Patreon brought this up in the call show about how impressed they were with your ability. Oh, really? Thank you. I'll have to check that out. Because that I know that happened in between. I talked with Rob twice today. Me, him, and Annabelle talked Traitors UK earlier, and then Rob had patron call, and then he had the Jam Jam interview in between that also. Do you all plan your questions ahead of time in the order you do, or just rotate who's asking next on your list? No. So with Scally and I, we have a system. Scally, what's up? I see him in the chat. Scally and I have a system where I'll open up the show. I'll introduce, myself, Scally, introduce the guest, ask the guest how they are doing at this time. Guest gives their spiel, and then we dive in. And at that point, either I ask a question to kick off, or after the guest does their I am so annoyed, I was dead, blah, 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 Scally will ask. And then at that point, we know we're going to go back and forth. It's table tennis at that point. But in the event, there's sometimes where I run out of questions. So I'll just message Scally on the side, be like, I'm done. Unless you have more, feel free to ask another one right after, so we don't have any awkward pauses in the middle. So it's a little more structured, I guess. And we do have, in seasons past, we have had a shared Google Doc that we have a baseline of regular questions and then more specific questions for each person as well. And we kind of know, because we did the recap the night before, of exactly what things we're curious about. Because, you'll hear us on the pod being yeah, and I can't wait to find out what X thinks about this move. We'll find out tomorrow. We know we're going to ask that. And then with Rob, it's different. We don't talk about it ahead of time. Like I said, 10 minutes is not a lot of time to be coordinated, because you can be coordinated all you want. Then it's 2 minutes left. Shit, we can't do any of this. So that one's freeform completely, where I just wait for, there'll be a moment where the guest, the exit interview person, stops asking questions or stops responding, and I can tell Rob's waiting for me to say something. I slide in. I ask my question. I give them the stage. They go ahead, and then Rob will ad-lib on that, or I will ad-lib. So, for example, today with the Jam Jam one, Rob asked something, and then Jam Jam answers something to the effect of he felt ignored and dismissed by the others. And I was like, do you feel like you were dismissed because there was suspicion on you? That was me ad-libbing to Rob's question, not so much asking my own. Just because I was I'm curious if he feels he was dismissed because they didn't like him, or because they were suspicious of him and so they kept him at a distance. You know what I mean? Do I miss that? I guess I didn't have any foul behavior. No, saying foul behavior. Wait, foul behavior in what regard? Oh, you mean the chat last night? I'll take an Eric murder. Wow, Scally. Tell us how you really feel. I'm sad they spoiled so much on the preview. Honestly, I didn't even notice until we went through it now. I paid no attention. I typically don't pay attention to the previews anymore. Not because I feel like it's spoiling it for me, but it's because my stupid brain won't let it go. It's in season 2, I don't remember which episode it was, but they basically had spoiled that Bergie wasn't there was no murder, because they had a bird's eye view shot of the round table, and I counted everybody there. And I should have probably not said it on the podcast, but I did. But I just hated it because I knew. I was like, I don't want to know, and you made me know. Once I know, I can't unknow. So I usually avoid it also. But then I got curious here, and I couldn't help myself, and I looked. Okay, so don't blame me. Hey Z, thank you for the gift of this up to Scally. Appreciate it. Sometimes I'll have a question to indicate where this is going. Yes, in the shared doc. Yes. There's very cool behind the scenes info. I appreciate you sharing. Of course. Always love to share with y'all, chat, within reason. And this is within reason. Because of the storm in the cold we have been having in my area, there have been news reports of cars in case. Ooh, oh my God, Rob. Stay safe. It's really cool to hear the adjustment with the different co-hosts too. I love that it's still vibes either way, but it's in different ways. Yes. Scally and I aren't okay, we you ask about this thing and then I'll ask about this thing. It'll be more so I think for this season we didn't use the doc as much, but we still would get on maybe 10 minutes before the interview just to talk to each other of what we wanted to ask about. And we'd get a little bit prepped on ooh, I really want to know about this. Or if I saw something on socials, I'm like, okay, so did you see this tweet last night? No, let me tell you about it. So then I tell Scally about that. Then I'm like, okay, just so you know, I'm going to ask about this. So stuff like that. This is a lot about all of your experience as a host that y'all can make it look so seamless. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you so much. To be fair, Alan said this was the most iconic moment in Traitors history before Lisa posted that stalker comment about Colton. Yes. Do you think any of the housewives knew anything about Colton and these accusations before taping? I feel like a lot of them probably did not know. No. Or if they did, it's not coming to light on the show, really. But I feel like Lisa literally had a comment that indicated she had no idea until after. Especially if it's a Kevin or Omar, like, we don't need the doc. Yeah. Like Kevin, Omar, there's a bunch of other people that we were like, oh, we don't even need to be concerned because we know this is going to go beyond the 15 minutes we're getting. And we hope they let us keep going. And like, it shows how much I feel like Traitors Canada trusted us this year. Because Scally, I'm pretty sure most of our interviews, it was just me, you, and the guest. They didn't even, because usually there's a person from the team that'll be there to be like, hey guys, 2 minutes warning, stop. We had full trust from Traitors Canada this season. They kind of let us, go off. Sorry if I'm asking the wrong one, but new pal not up in podcast feed. It should be. I uploaded to the pod feed, to the pal pod feed, and I remember loading it up today. Did it not? Did I put the wrong fucking time on it or something? Hold on. Let me see. Queen Leon Lounge. You're right, it is not. Why is it not? It isn't in drafts? What the fuck? Why is it not in published? Okay, I'm publishing it right now. Thank you for pointing that out. I would have straight up not paid attention to this. There we go. Now it should be there. Thank you for pointing it out. Very proud of you professionals. Look at us becoming professionals. From like literally from being a listener and like being fascinated by all this to now being a part of it, I couldn't be happier. I'm proud of the journey. Can you explain what the dagger does and how do you think Rob would use it? Yeah, Kevin, the dagger is basically 2 votes. It's just 2 votes. So the person who uses the dagger gets to vote twice. That's it. And based on what we heard yesterday, Rob can now use it for 3 more roundtables. So Rob can use it at final 11, at final 9, and final 7. Yeah. As far as how do I think Rob should use it, I have an inkling Rob's going to use it at a time where he feels like it's him versus Candace. That's my prediction. I didn't want to come off as weird, but you and Jam Jam have a very similar beard. I don't know what that means. Do we? Yeah, I can see it. It's a whole beard, and then there's a lot more like hair action over here in the chin area. And it's a full beard. It's not a thinner beard. So I get that. I don't think that's weird to say. Did you hear the Catherine O'Hara news today? I did. I was on the pod with Rob and Annabelle when I saw news of it. The dagger is OP in a traitor's hands. I mean, I said this last night and I'll say it again. If I'm part of the Dagger 6, and it's the traitors. I do not trust that everybody here is being honest and keeping this a secret. If Rob Rouse survives after being the most vocal person against Lisa and having a dagger, if Rob Rouse survives 2 more nights, I would be very suspect of him as a traitor. Because what do you mean you have 2 votes and you pushed out a traitor and you're still here to tell the tale? You know what I mean? Unless you have the wherewithal to pin it on someone else that's like, oh, they're protecting me. That's why I'm here. But it would be suspect to me. I know it's different from how the dagger appeared on the UK, but I happen to enjoy how the dagger appeared on last night's episode. I liked the game of who could end up with the dagger. I hated that the final 6 to be in running for the dagger, for the most part, was determined by athletic ability, physical ability. Because you're not, like, the casting for this show is not done on the merit of who is physically fit. So why are the physically fit people getting rewarded with the dagger? You know? But I like the game of deception that was the cards and the question. It felt like I was watching a YouTube video of a game. So I like that part. I just didn't expect Natalie to be that bait also. I still can't believe she was the one who had it. Next question in the forum. Inquiring minds want to know, are you team potato or team tomato? It's tough. I feel like they're different to me. I know they're both technically vegetables, but one is definitely more in the carb area to me in a weird way, like mentally. I mean, potatoes are best in many ways, right? We've got mash, we've got boiled, we've got roasted, we've got fried, and I love all facts of that. And then when not just fried, then it's like in 18,000 different types of fries, and poutine needs potato in it. Tomato I love personally, and without tomato you don't get the Persian omelet that I love. And I personally think tomatoes are incredible, but I know for a lot of you, you ain't fucking with that shit. But I do think when all things are said and done, I think potato is elite. I think potato wins. I think you can find substitutes for tomato. I don't think you find that as easy for potato. The only good tomato is ketchup. Wow. Scally, get him. How dare you have to fight Scally for the moniker of who loves ketchup the most, though. I'm sorry. Yeah. Maddie Doves, welcome and hope you're doing well. First tomatoes out the garden with a sprinkle of salt on, delicious. I absolutely agree with you. It's a very tough this or that question. Sweet potato versus regular potato. Sweet potato gets removed so quickly for me. Yukon Gold is the best potato. I don't have that personal of an opinion on which potato is the better potatoes, if that makes sense. And the last question thus far in the form, do you have a P.O. box? I do not have a P.O. box currently. That's something that we looked into the idea of getting in New Haven, but it was very costly for the size. You couldn't get the size we wanted, and it was very costly for a smaller size. And then it just felt like, well, I don't even know if this is going to be something anyone wants to use or send stuff to, but I think now I'd be more open to getting a P.O. box if there was genuine interest in it. That could be fun. But no, right now, no P.O. box from me. No P.O. box at the current moment. And vodka. Potatoes are used in making vodka. This is true. This is true. Where does UK4 rank amongst the other UK seasons? Other franchises entirely? It definitely beats season 3. I think then I have to really figure out my personal rankings for 1, 2, and 4. I think low key, I think I might end up being either 2-4-1 or 4-2-1. I think 1 might be slipping to 3 for me. I have to rewatch 1 though. I'm sometimes thinking about, is 1 just high for me because of like nostalgia to a degree? But I loved 1. So I'm like, maybe I do love 1 and I just don't remember enough of it to remember why I loved 1 and why was it higher on my list. I don't know. But like 2, 4, and 1 are elite seasons of the Traitors. As far as comparing to the other seasons of the Traitors, I think that UK still beats every other franchise, in my personal opinion. So in 1, 1 is the most dramatic this show has been and has not been less dramatic since. Agreed. Yeah, they thought they were actually murdering people. That's how it felt, for sure. Why do you have a potato twerking emote? Why do you have access to this? Your birthday's coming up. That's where the PO box inquiry came. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So no, sadly not. My birthday is coming up, chat. I'm 3-ish weeks away from my birthday. Little petrified, but should be fun. Why don't you have a potato twerking emote? Because it's contextually never been a thing that's come up here. You know what I mean? You know? Oh, I saw Mike Bloom's tweet about Jam Jam incriminating Lisa before being dragged away. There was some interesting discussion in the replies. Where do you stand? Are you okay with players pointing the finger on their way out? We've long talked about how we don't like the parting gift, right? I think, for me, the dramatic exit was fun. It was very fun. I think no one is out there saying that Jam Jam ended up being the reason Lisa goes. I think the reality is Lisa was always on the short list for getting banished the next day anyway. I think it emboldened Rob Roush to use that to kick out Lisa or push Lisa again. But for me, I thought it was fun, y'all. It just was fun. It was fun to, because they're dragging him away in like a he's a prisoner type situation. That I enjoyed quite a bit. I like that we don't see this happening at the roundtable, and I have to imagine at the roundtable there's probably more stricter rules where they are told you get up on here, you just either you can say your goodbyes, and then you can do your reveal and you can leave. You cannot say more than that. That's like seems like that's clearly a rule. Hey, happy birthday, early birthday for AZ. AAA. Hell yeah. So I thought it was fun. I think, again, I go back to what I've said before. The Traitors is not a fair game by any stretch of the imagination. But I gotta ask you, if they weren't going to reveal Jam Jam died then and there, then yeah, anything that was said would be weird. But I feel like it was just so much drama there. And that was just all that mattered. It was drama. If there was no like him getting cursed and getting up, then all that would have happened was they would have all spent the night being all chummy and goodbye and like, oh, I'm so sad. This is someone's last night here. Cheers, everybody. And then someone dies in the morning. This was infinitely more fun because he was like, she kissed me. And she's like, no, I didn't. And then people were like, no, she kissed all of us. That's not it. But then some people were like, no, that was it. I again think that there was a lot of other things Lisa was doing that was already suspect to them. So I don't think, and like, remember, these people or a lot of these players were not fucking with Jam Jam like that. So they were not trusting Jam Jam. Jam Jam had all these other people he was looking at. So it's not like they're like, all right, we'll do it for Jam Jam. It was more so that, hey, we were looking at Lisa last night. Lisa's still on our list. And who's Lisa up against tonight? Natalie. Do I think it's Natalie? I don't know. And then Natalie does her arguments at the table. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, then it's definitely Lisa. Like Colton was not on the table tonight anymore. So I think that for me, it didn't change the game. It didn't make things worse. If anything, it only infuriated me that Jam Jam was right because I knew she didn't kiss him. So I knew that she got the kill off perfectly. And I felt bad for Lisa because I'm like, you got caught for something you didn't do, you know, and that sucked. But other than that, I'm fine with Jam Jam being able to say it because in a different world, he's yelling out, oh my God, Stephen Coletti kissed me. It's Stephen. And now are they going to follow through with that the same way? No, I don't think they're like, all right, Jam Jam's last words were Stephen, get him. I don't think that happens. So I think really in this situation was specific. I think that verbally you shouldn't be able to say more on your way out, but when you're a faith, and I think maybe this is more a bias for me, if you're a traitor, I don't think you should be able to like sell your fellow traitors under the bus on the way out, you know? I don't think once you reveal your vote, you're like, My vote will reveal all in the future. As you're like, say I'm the traitor and I'm getting voted out, right? And there's like 7 votes red for me. Alan's like, Pooya, you've been banished, but we must now look at everyone else's chalkboards. And then it gets to me, and I've written down the name of my fellow traitor, Susan, who, wait, I have Susans in my community. Abdullah. I know I don't have an Abdullah in here. So I'm traitors with Abdullah, and I voted Abdullah, and I now know that I'm banished, and I know Abdullah voted for me. So then it's me being like, well, I voted for this person, and you'll find out why soon come. And I reveal, and then I go up there and I'm revealed to be a traitor. Because now everyone knows it's Abdullah, because I basically said, hey, I voted a traitor also, so look at them. That I don't like. Fuck that. But faithfuls say wrong shit all the time and right shit all the time. So to me, it doesn't change anything. To me, it didn't make them go for Lisa harder at all. Although I will say it did give a lot of dramatics, because a lot of people felt shitty. I think Natalie felt shitty about drinking the antidote right then and there. I think it made everybody feel a little bit more hurt in the moment, because usually they don't get to face the person who's dead. They do at banishments, but not when someone else has murdered them. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so that's more personal for me. I understand people who don't like it, but for me, I'm like, it's just good fun. Fuck it. Like, if I'm Lisa Rinna and I'm a traitor and someone says my name at that point, I get pissed. Have you watched me play Goose Goose Chat? If I'm doing a duck gambit well, and then someone's like, I think I saw Pooya on the left part of the map, and I'm like, I've literally never went to the left part of the map. Like, I saw you there. I'm only frustrated because you're wrong, not because I'm gonna get voted out. I'm just irritated that like something that was wrong is getting me more than getting out. But alas, because again, shout out to Lisa. She did get the murder in plain sight done without a problem. Otherwise, main man Dennis in the building. Thank you for the 52 months, Dennis. Appreciate you. How you been? Welcome in. She did a great job with the actual amulet. Yes, she did. Can we agree that where they left that cliffhanger was perfect in terms of last night's episode? On the heels of the turret, yes. For me personally, I wanted the payoff, but I understand it. A lot of confirmed faithful say their last words right before they being confirmed. It doesn't feel different enough to matter, and it was fun. Yes. Honestly, like the yelling because it was the murder in plain sight situation. Yes, same. Lisa was going. That's what I think as well. Even if she did kiss more than one person, it's only the first person that dies. Right. Well, except for the kiss wasn't really what killed them. Exactly. Not that it was surprising, but Natalie's defense of the round two was excellent. Oh, Natalie was brilliant in that moment. I mean, this is somebody who has been tried and tested at the battleground that is Final Tribal Council, not once, but twice. One of those times, a all-winner season. So it doesn't surprise me in the least bit that Natalie was able to be cool, calm under pressure and say the right things under pressure, you know? I was worried Lisa was going to throw shade at Rob. No, Lisa, shout out to Lisa. She took her licks and said, damn you, Rob, in the confessional, which I did respect. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Yeah, this is the first hoodie I bought when I moved to North America when I was 19, and it's still here. It's still here. It still works. The sleeves are a little bit worse for wear, but y'all don't need to see that. You don't need to see that at all. We're fine otherwise. What's next in the form? You have one more question? No, two more questions in the form. No, one more question in the form. Oh, absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you, question asker. I didn't, in the moment, I thought that, and I was like, oof. It nearly took me out of it. All right, we're caught up on the form now, chat. We are now caught up on the forum. I'm caught up with the chat also. What is Blood on the Clock Tower? I keep hearing it referenced on pods. Blood on the Clock Tower, Squid, is a game similar to Mafia, similar to One Night Werewolf, similar to Among Us in a way, where there are people that have roles. Someone gets murdered, and you got to figure out who's murdering, and so on. Everyone, and Blood on the Clock Tower is a little more intricate. Everyone has roles. Everyone can break out into different rooms and talk about these things. It is, we see a bunch of it happen and hosted by other people. Dwight, specifically in our community, does a lot of hosting of Blood on the Clock Tower, as does Stephen Fishback. We got Morgan in the building. Hey, Morgan, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. We're just talking some thoughts about last night's episode. And we just ended up talking about whether or not it was fine that Jam Jam said Lisa's name as he was getting dragged out of the game. What's your community name? We're the Less Than Two crew out here. Because this is my emote. This is our team emote or group emote. It's a debate, I'm sure. Yeah, lots of people be talking about it. Yeah, the lore behind that, Morgan, is that when I first started streaming, I had just moved to the States. So I didn't have my work permit and I was not legally able to monetize stream. So I didn't have emotes, but we could make a Less Than Two through the keyboard. So boom. Boom. That's how we got here. All right. So there's somebody that keeps posting Dr. Sean talking about Jenna on Borneo. I'm not going to watch a YouTube video right now. I appreciate you linking it to me, but we're not going to watch it right now. Hope you understand. It's not been posted twice. Can't wait to talk to you about the episode tomorrow. Same, Morgan. Very excited to hear what your thoughts are. Hey, Z, thank you for giving us up to Morgan. Appreciate you. Morgan, officially welcome into the Lesson 2 crew. Hope you enjoy your stay. Yeah, we're definitely going to chop it up about this episode. I'm really curious what your thoughts are on everything that went down. Hey, Z. But yeah, exclamation advice chat. If you want to put anything anonymously in the forum, go ahead and do so. Gonna play marbles tonight? I think we'll run some marbles tonight. I think we have time for it. Should be fine. Should be good to go. Without a problem. Also, another element of stuff that's going on behind the scenes you may not know about. I'll tell you a little bit about my RP stuff that's been happening. This may have been, and some of you may know because I have seen you in the chats of the other streamers from the server. This has been the biggest week of RP I've had in months, I feel like. A lot of moving pieces happening. A lot of moving pieces happening with the news and with my artist character. A lot has been happening. I miss RP. Morgan, would you ever go back to RP? Is there an official host for Blood on the Clock Tower? I saw there was beef between survivors and a tribe on 50. No shot Blood on the Clock Tower came up in a conversation about Survivor 50, Squid. No, Blood on the Clock Tower is just like, for us, Stephen Fishback hosts some lobbies and so does Dwight. I need a server? Ooh. Wait, do you not have a server? You were in so fun fact, Morgan, the reason why I ended up doing RP is because when I was doing the cast assessments for Big Brother in the lead up to the draft, I had seen that you had done RP stuff, and that was one of the things I thought. I'm like, this person has done RP. They're going to be able to do a lot of improv and moments that are tense, or they can switch up when they need to like fit the scenario. And I was like, I like that as a characteristic for the show. And then I was curious what server you were in, so I went digging, and I found the server that you had played in, at least at some point had played in. And then that was when I was like, nah, you know what? Fuck it. Let me apply to a server, because I'd put off applying to an RP server for a long time. Because I tried to apply to No Pixel back in like 2021, 2022, and I got rejected a bunch, like 2 or 3 times. And this was at the time where you had to pay them monthly, and you could only apply a max of 5 times. So I was like nervous about getting rejected again. So then I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing this again. So I kind of like stopped, and then here I am doing RP. Have I read Stephen Fishback's book? Not yet, no. My Blue Mask People Blood on the Clock Tower questions in the interview. Did he actually? In what capacity did he ask questions? That's so wild to me. And he didn't ask about, man, he's like, come to this server, Resilient RP. Hey, if you want to hang around the British folks, please come through. And he didn't ask about Goose Goose Duck, the rat. Wow. I thought I was friends with Mike Bloom. Although, to be fair, only Christian would have played Goose Goose in this cast, I think. Yes, Emily, what character she wants to play? Yeah, Emily has played Blood on the Clock Tower, so that makes sense. British friends are so fun. We have a good time. We really do. Emily says she want to be a Scarlet Woman. Ugh, I gotta look at, isn't that the role where if your main like the imp gets murdered, then it passes over to the Scarlet Woman, right? That's what it is. Colby seems like he'd be a goose guy. Colby would think I'm referring to like Duck Hunt or some shit. Colby might think I'm talking about let's go hunting for real and would be like, yeah, sign me up. I don't want to do hunting. Are you joking me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Of all the people, Sam, I don't think Colby knows who else is on his season. So Colby's like, all right, where are these geese? But yeah, I truly feel like gaming helped me so much in the house, but people who hate gamers or think the creators in real will forever hate, I think they just don't understand it. I think, and this is something, Morgan, that I've been talking about more and thinking about more as I'm 34 in 2 weeks, where I recognize that my parents to this day do not understand what I do at all. Don't get this world at all. Don't get this as a viable like career path. And it's because it's a new career path. It's a new thing. And I think for them, it's like they just don't understand that. They don't see it as like skill sets or anything that is translatable or transferable into other things in the world. And I think they're wrong. And I think a lot of people are showing them that they're wrong on a very clear basis. But I think a lot of people just don't get it. And I think some people just don't want to get it. They want to be like, nah, it's cringe. Nah, it's stupid. It's childish. And then they can move on from it. You know what I mean? You and Colby are basically the same age. Tomster, you will get banned, okay? You're lucky I let your preschool ass stay in here at age 22. You're lucky. Don't test me, Tomster, please. They don't want to understand. Right. I thought of putting Jonathan in, but Colby trying to figure out this is just so much more entertaining to me. Sam, do you hate me? Is that what it is? Like I get dragged for sitting at my computer talking to screen. Like imagine getting upset because I'm talking to my community. I feel like cultivating a whole community, hanging out with people, and like, yeah. It's listen. You know what it is, Morgan, is that I think also streaming. Like, let's say streaming specifically, right? When did this become, like, who was the pinnacle, the poster child of streaming? I feel like it really, really hit mainstream audiences when Ninja and Fortnite were blowing up simultaneously. So Ninja was just like gaming first, nothing else, right? And like that they did understand because like he's just playing video games. Then the subathon with Ludwig is probably what blew up next during peak COVID time. It was the subathon with Ludwig, then Among Us, then that was the age of the collabs happening. But then what did mainstream cover from streaming from there on out? From there on out, we moved over, and we talk about metas all the time, but what did mainstream specifically see? We went from the Ludwig era, the just chatting era, to then hot tub streams. Now everyone's discourse is hot tub streams and how, oh, there are children on these websites. Why are people doing hot tub? And then that was what people thought streaming was. Now streaming has become a lot of people, the only thing they see about streaming is the IRL stuff. And it's not even the IRL stuff that's like collabs with friends. It's the streamer went into a McDonald's and kicked a server in the face. Like it's that kind of shit that we're seeing. Or it's like fucking Jack Doherty crashing his car while live streaming, which like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like it's all the bad stuff, I feel like. And it's infuriating because I know what happens on this app. I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for my community. I know, like, literally streaming and gaming saved a lot of us from so much during the COVID era. And I don't think some people just don't get it. They don't get it. I did a backflip. Wait, what'd you say? Hold on. A backflip when Fortnite Ninja was on The Masked Singer. I clocked him when we did our podcast because I was like, I know what this is. Game was huge in 22, but it was big before that. It was massive before then. It was absolutely massive. All of this Twitch history dive. I love talking about this shit. Y'all know this. Hot Tub Streamer as well. It was the meta. It was the absolute meta. It's sad where a lot of content creators take their content, but hey, that ain't my business. I make sure that I involve myself with like-minded creators and invest and build there. Honestly, that's exactly the vibe. That's absolutely the move. It's like everyone's gonna make their bread somehow. Some people, I'm like, I don't know why you're choosing this way, but it's like, hey, if it works for you, it works for you. It ain't for me, and I get that. I just couldn't do that. You know, I'm like, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do what I can excel in. I think so many shops and boutiques are now switching to live stream sales, so that's making it mainstream for a new audience too. Mm-hmm. So almost old peeps do get it though. Lori, and that's the thing, is like, I feel like a lot of people in my community, like, I think there's some people that have found me through, you know, they were on Twitch and they found me, but I think for a lot of you, you found me maybe podcasting first and then came here and then like stuck around because like you learned about this realm through here, which I'm very thankful for and happy to be there to do that. But yeah, it's just like, for me, it's very tough for me because I would love to share the success and the glory of what I do and like celebrate what I do with family, you know, but they just don't get it. And I've tried so hard to like not put them onto, but like teach them. And not even so much Twitch stuff, even just podcasting also. I don't think they understand. With my dad, I tried to simplify it and be like, hey, it's like a radio talk show. That's cool, right? And I still don't think he understands that. Does my sister? Well, my sister's 3 years younger than me, so she's aware of what these things are. She ain't really interested in this world either, though. I think my sister has been in my stream like exactly twice in the last 6 years. But again, I don't need her to be here as a regular chatter. So she kind of understands it, but also I don't think she's interested in it, which is fair. But I'm specifically talking about my parents. For me, I feel like mentally there was a lot of, and you know, I come from a Middle Eastern background. There was a lot of, you need the parents to be proud of what you're doing. And I think they're proud of who I am. I don't think they understand what I do. And I think there's probably a hint of me being like, hey, you proud of me? And they're like, I don't know what this is. So Taryn has abandoned Twitch for Patreon. When was Taryn's last stream? I feel like I've not seen him on Twitch in a minute now. Is it still the Survivor finale? We're so cool. She'd like us. I think she'd like you. What I'm saying is, C Daily, I'm like, it's not a requirement for me that they have to be there. You know, it's like, you have to consume my content because you are family and you should love me, damn it. I don't think it's that, you know? But it's like, it's also like, it's something that I've not like necessarily shielded from my, like, for example, I don't use my Instagram often. My Instagram is like probably the main place where my non-reality TV RHAP folk would ever find me or get updates on me would be through Insta. But I don't update it a lot or at all even. So it's like, it's almost on me also that I don't really like plug what I do or like show what I do. Oh yeah, Taryn's last stream, yeah, was the finale of 49. I didn't realize that, you know. Zemo's like, hey, Morgan, if you're still here, I'm begging you to play Blood on the Clock Tower sometime. Morgan, I think for what it's worth, you would really love it. Talk about gaming. Like, we're talking not intense. I guess it could be intense, but it's fun. A little complex, but a good complex. I do think Morgan would thrive on the Blood on the Clock Tower with Dwight's crew. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Dwight, by the way. He keeps inviting me to Blood on the Clock Tower, even though I've said no for a long time now. It's not that I'm like, no, I don't want to. It's just I am not able to at those times. 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. on Saturdays has become actively a more tough time for me to go about streaming. Blood on the Clock Towering. To be honest, I've gone through Terran for the past 5 years, and I'm about to opt out of the Robo Army because I'm paying. Oh, C Daily. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for sticking through with me. I do appreciate it. Let's face it, you hate Dwight and don't want to spend Saturdays with him. If Dwight answered my calls and texts, I'd love him more. I'll say it. No, I actually shouldn't say that, because there's been a lot of times also where he's invited me and I've not responded to him. So I liked when you vibe with him as a co-storyteller. I loved co-storytelling. That was a lot of fun for me, and I would definitely be down to do that more. The situation, though, is that Saturdays are either date day with Liana, or I've had a long night with streaming and like just stayed up, so I need to sleep. I sleep in on Saturdays typically, or RP stuff happens. Because I'm in that British server, RP starts at like 2 p.m. Central for the most part. Is it a time for a live call to Dwight again? No, although let me see. No, we'll allow him. It's fine. It's fine. We'll allow him. Call him anyway. No. I think a Blood of the Clock has 50% game, 50% comedy. Honestly, yes. I think that's how you're supposed to play it. I think if you play it any other way, it can be too much. It certainly feels that way when I play it. I feel like if I take it too seriously, it's going to be a lot on my mind. I just found a TikTok that is RIP Granny. She got hit by a bazooka, but it's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Yes, I have seen that. I've seen every single bazooka meme that you can think of. Everywhere. The ratio for Goose Goose, I feel like the ratio for Goose Goose low key at this point is 20% catching up with friends, 30% game, 50% comedy. What's the better twist from this year of Traitors? The talk to the Traitors or the dagger lasting 4 rounds? I think the dagger lasting 4 rounds might be one of the worst twists. I think the talking to the Traitors is absolutely my favorite twist so far of the year. Easily. But I do not like that the dagger lasts 4 rounds at all. But also, again, in most situations, the dagger should not be still live after the first night. Because if you keep it, you're going to get murdered. 20% game, 50% comedy. What's the other 30? No. 20% friends catching up, 30% game, 50% comedy. Yeah, no worries. How much fun was the podcast with Tiffany, Big D, and Chada? It was delightful, Jimmy. That happened on Sunday at about 2 p.m. my time, about 3 p.m. Eastern. And it was so fun. It was a lot of fun because like we also were on the line before and after the pod for a little bit. And it was just like chilling with people who it's like I felt like I've talked to them for ages before. And really the only one I had talked to extensively was Hannah Chada, but that was also for like an hour when we talked about Tiffany in the previews. So, you know what I mean? So I played several weeks of Goose Goose with some folks and extended folks from the community, and I feel like watching many years of you just having fun with Goose Goose and not caring has made it my philosophy, and it's just so much fun that way. Responding, that warms my heart to hear. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I definitely, and I do think I have detective tendencies, right? I have moments where I'm like, ooh, I can't help but want to solve the puzzle. That's my big puzzle. I enjoy the detective game. But I also think that, you know, voting someone out for the meme or using a punchline to vote somebody out or, you know, gaslighting your way out of the game, I think, and I've literally made them, like, convince them to vote me out when I'm not the dodo, just for the laughs. And I think that is important because when all is said and done, we've done about 250 lobbies now. And within those 250 lobbies, I couldn't tell you how many games I've won, how many games I've lost. What I can tell you is I've had fun for 250 weeks. And I think that's really what mattered more than anything, is that really changed things and made it better. Because I think the early days of Among Us, we started to get to a point where it was like, yeah, we need to, like, it was like, oh, this is becoming like a lot for myself, for some other people. So I think keeping it lighthearted is the sauce. Even though sometimes I admit Some games I do get carried away and I'm like, hey, I want the win though. I want the win. I want to solve the puzzle. But yeah, again, gotta keep it lighthearted when you can. Also, Jennifer, earlier you said something about Ninja, and the only way I know Ninja is from Mass Singer in your podcast. Yes, the ice cream guy. That's right. Well, funny enough though, Ninja and Johnny Weir, the boots in the same Mass Singer episode, double boots that episode, both of them. In the world wild. Dagger should be changed to the assassin, and the holder can off a person at any time by using it. Could be a traitor tool to go after, faithful tool to go after a traitor versus a traitor, or a faithful offing a faithful by accident. I don't love the idea that one player can have that much power. I get it's like a Slayer shot, but I don't love that either. I think that having one player take someone out like that could be a problem. I just think about the idea that you're robbed of some feuds, you're robbed of some allegations, some fights, simply because someone has the power to get rid of the person they're sus of immediately. I also think it's not fun for me to have the traitor, like let's say a traitor's doing a really good job and the only mistake in their game is they haven't convinced one person that they're guilty. And that person gets the assassin shot. I don't love that. Because that would make me feel like, ugh, that's an L of a twist. I do like the idea that we could workshop it though. I'm not opposed to that. If the dagger was a secret, I'd be more into that. However, it would have to be applicable to anybody could have gotten it in the group, because if it's similar to this where it's like one of us 6 got it but we don't know who got it, let's just not, if no one says anything we'll be fine. But I also think you got to look at it from the other side of, if Rob comes back to the turret and says I don't have it, then well, the thing is right now with the dynamics, Rob would probably want to keep those numbers anyway. But if Rob isn't in that group, let's say it's like 6 faithful, those 6 faithful are just signed their death warrant. They're going to get executed one by one just so that dagger goes away probably. And I think still, even then with the dagger being a secret among 6, I still think you are benefiting from the world where you burn that vote immediately, the dagger immediately, just so that you're not going to get executed by the traitors. Speaking of Goose Goose Slumber Party in the Discord, February 28th. Hell yeah. We have to. Did we decide how we're going to figure out the movie for that night, Mandy? Oh, you know what? I think we've talked about it. Now that I said that out loud, don't mind me. Calling people over who the phone always makes for good Goose Goose moments. Yes, and I do love that I don't overdo that. I think there's also a key of balance, right? If every game I'm calling someone on the phone and making them vote out somebody else, then that's not special and it's going to be just irritating, I think. You want it to be special, so you got to do it sporadically. I think there's got to be a good balance of memes and playing in a lobby, and even though so many lobbies, I think you all keep that balance. Yeah, I think that happens. I think that, for example, if the games were all memes and meant nothing, I think some people don't want to watch that. I think some people don't want to play in those lobbies. I think you have to have a healthy balance of, also people are playing optimally, people are trying to solve the puzzle, but I think you got to just keep it lighthearted is the main word, right? You got to still be like, I'm solving the puzzle, but do I fuck you? Like, you got to keep that energy a little bit just to keep the fun going, just to make everyone feel like it's stupid. I still think you're bad though, but it doesn't matter. Stuff like that. I have a plan. There'll be a way to suggest movies to join the Discord if you want to join, or put in movie picks. There we go, Mandy. There we go. All right. We have a question in the forum about the Traitors format, actually. I wish we had more regular murders this season. Question asker? Me too. 2 murders in plain sight and the secret traitor twist made it so that we haven't seen much turret discussion. I miss when we get to hear the traitors talk about each season as they decided who to kill. I feel like I didn't know what the traitors are thinking as much. I absolutely agree with you there. 1000%. Here's the thing. I actually brought this up today in our podcast with Rob and Annabelle, and I'm going to pull up the wiki to fact check myself once more and make sure I'm not saying it wrong. So, in this season of the US so far, we have had exactly one regular turret murder that hasn't been a shortlist and hasn't been a murder in plain sight. That murder was Monet Exchange. Every other murder has been some kind of a specialty type murder, which I don't love either. I agree with you. I like when there's more of a free form discussion, when they can truly put together a short list of 3 people from like the entire group. I feel like a combination of like, okay, only 5 people can die, and also you're gonna have to kill them in person. I don't love that. I don't love that. I don't think it's that end hero because, and I didn't want to say this, but it's a similar format in the Traitors UK. So I think it was just the production choice. It had nothing to do with the gamers not being there at all. If anything, low key, I feel like last season the gamers could have used a short list given to them by someone else to make the decisions, because they seem to not know which decisions to make at times. Rob's murder in plain sight should have been a regular murder. I feel like we needed one for sure that early. But yeah, we're on episode 7 now. Only one murder has been quote unquote regular. And how many more episodes have we got? I think it's going to be a total of what, 12 episodes, I think? With the reunion? So 11 episodes. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 more episodes. Even if we do all 4 of those episodes with regular murders without asterisks next to them, not asterisk, but like no in plain sight, no shortlist from like a secret traitor, at that point, there'll be one more regular murder than irregular murder. And I still think we're not going to have that, you know? Given that there are 4 episodes left, it's very likely that there won't be any recruitment unless a blackmail is forced. Also, Chris, thank you for the first time chat. Appreciate it. I don't disagree with you. I think that with 2 people left, the window is quickly starting to get there. I think probably their last time they can bring someone in as a twosome is like final. So right now we're at final 11 after this murder, right? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're at 12. We're going to be at 11 at the start of this episode. And then we'll be at 10 at the end of that episode. I feel like at the end of 8, they still can. Then we get down to 8. At that point, I think that might be their last call to do it if they both stay in the game at final 6. If at final 6, they're down to 1 traitor, they'll be able to do a recruitment then. That one person can. So there's only 2 windows for them, I think, now, you know? If they don't do one tonight, which I don't think they're going to do so tonight. The tourists are so fun and we're being denied. I agree, Scally. I 100% agree. Thankfully, tonight in the game, it's a regular round by the sounds of it, right? Unless Alan comes in and says, you thought you were going to murder. You're not going to do. I don't know what accent that was, but you can't do it, you know? I think I'm liking this season's twist more than last season, but I also don't love it in the context of not giving the traders as much agency. I prefer twists like the traders picking in the last season of Canada more. I think that it's an attempt to balance out the game a little bit because the traders do have it easier than the faithful. We've discussed this a lot, but are we getting to a point now where we're being exposed to ways to make the game more balanced? And if anything, it just feels more unfair to the faithful that get inconsequentially stuck in positions where, oh, well, unfortunately for you, you were an easy person to murder in this situation. Versus like, if it was a longer and bigger discussion, because one thing that is true and what I got from the Jam Jam interview is that him and Lisa were very close. So if it wasn't a murder in plain sight, does Lisa get rid of Jam Jam? Unlikely. Jam Jam's also a suspect on the table. So I don't think that happens. Or like, again, if Rob isn't in that short list of 4, does he get murdered? I think Candace sells him out later. But that night, he may have not been murdered in plain sight if everyone else was available. So I think stuff like that, I think it hinders the traders and the faithful alike. It's not like, oh, it balances it out. I think that Yeah, I think the banquet I have less of a problem with, because you could murder anybody in plain sight. Shortlisted and murder in plain sight is just a double banger of a lot. Need more fiber to get that regular murder. Where it's just a format thing to throw them on versus the mechanics. Wait, I think I'm like, oh, I see. It's like our secret traitor twist we workshopped, where they don't shortlist, but they actually murder some nights, and the traitors may or may not get a chance that night. Wait. Oh, secret traitor twist where we were. Yeah. I like the idea of we get a turret. If they wanted to do the secret traitor again, we get the turret. The three traitors talk extensively about who they want to murder and why, and they present a list to the secret traitor, and then the secret traitor gets to murder one of them. That way, we get our turret deliberation, and the thing that the main traitor team does matters more. The secret traitor basically is the executioner. They decide which one gets to get murdered, which other two get a stay of execution and don't get murdered. And at least that way of formatting, it makes more sense than, hey, one person who none of you know gets to decide who gets to fucking die. That makes no sense. That makes the turret not matter. That makes the three there basically lemmings. Coin it the executioner. It's right there. The branding's right there. And I like the animation of, you do it this way, where you have them come out of the turret with the name, with the envelope, and they're in their cloaks, right? And then like one of the traitors hands it to Alan, and then Alan starts walking towards the dungeon, which we know exists somewhere on this game. He goes to the dungeon where the executioner is waiting, and puts the pictures of like the three people shortlisted in front of the executioner, and now the executioner has to talk about who they want to murder, and maybe try and figure out who the traitors are if they don't know the identities of them and stuff. Or even if they do know, it's more exciting. Like, wow, why is like Tara on this list? I thought Tara and Candace were close. I wonder if this was more of a Rob pick. See, you see what I mean? You see the intrigue? Do you see the vision? See what the vision is? We'll do something with that. I wonder if that's why the faithfuls are also so off base. The traitors aren't having this typical comms control. The unconventional murders are breaking patterns and scrambling the typical traitor signals. Kellyanne, that's actually a really salient point, because it's a lot harder to pinpoint why Ian gets murdered when the solution is Ian was on a list with three other people, and Ian was like the one gamer there that didn't make enough of a social impression on anybody. Or why is Rob murdered specifically in this bunch? Stuff like that I think is very interesting. Not trying to argue, but they should try a new twist. But it does hurt the faithful. For example, Rob's lack of info about the shortlist night one was huge on his interpretation of what the traitors might be thinking. Yes, I think that, not trying to argue that they shouldn't try new twists. I mean, absolutely they should, because at the end of the day, you should keep the game fresh, right? But I think that, and I think it's good that you can't study for the traitors. I think it's good that you still can come in and there's still new things that are happening that you are not privy to. But I think that at least the foundation, like already you don't have any, like this isn't the mole, right? You're not getting evidence-based content of like, oh, well, this person tripped during the mission. You're not getting stuff like that. So you should get something. And I think for me, the something is, why did this person vote this person? Why did this person die last night? And so on. And I think that using someone else's shortlist makes it harder for you to pinpoint that on, like, you know, for example, why would I in any world look at Donna Kelsey's list and think, this is why Lisa Rinna would do this, you know? But I think also it's like, it's the name of the game. The faithful at the end of the day are not meant to have more information. And I guess the traitors, to be the counter argument, the traitors don't have as much agency in what they're doing either. So I don't know. It's a good debate, though. Will you be covering the next season of Traitors New Zealand? Okay, as long as they speak English on the Traitors, we will be there for sure. Hell, maybe in the future I can cover some seasons where they don't speak English on the season. I have talked a little bit about Traitors Quebec, but not like weekly. So were there cards just as the banquet to provide opportunity for red herrings? Yes. The cards were there to fuck with them, which I did appreciate. I thought that was fun. I think that was very fun. What's good, Alex? Mr. Luke Anderson in the building. Of course, you got to throw in a 6-7, don't you? Why are you throwing John Porks in my chat, man? Please. Yeah, we talking the Traitors here, Alex. Gwen with the first time chat. What's up? I think there was this foreign season that did the opposite Secret Traitor, where the Secret Traitor got the short list from the Traitors and not sure what country. That's entirely possible. To this day, every now and then I'll hear about a season that did exactly the thing I'm thinking of, and I'm like, shit, I need to watch that season. I think I need to, for a little bit, convert into becoming a full-fledged Traitors connoisseur. And by that I mean just consume Traitors content only and just watch all these foreign seasons also that I've not checked out yet. I really think I need to get there. I was saying Secret Traitor gets nothing most nights, but oh, I see. But certain nights total control where the yes. However, I do like what you just said as well. Thank you, be straight. Have them cloak it up in the same room. That'll be excellent TV. Yes. I also think the Secret Traitor, especially with being Donna, was so out on an island having a team, and I think she needed that. Yes. I think that she, at least if she had known who the other Traitors were, she could start even making a relationship with them, right? She could be like, you know, hanging out with Candace. So like, Candace, how are you? Whatever. Like, you know, I think that would have been at least a little bit helpful. If it was the other way around, I think the Secret Traitor getting into all the Traitors by the shortlist would be so helpful for them to figure it out. Yes. Agreed. I do want to say that I think the challenges are so much improved with the decision-making aspect about shields, no murder. Yes. I think that they've fixed the missions. I think for a long time, people were like, okay, so the missions aren't giving them clues about who's a traitor and not giving them shields? Who cares, truly? And honestly, I think the missions initially were there straight up for just like mental morale for everybody involved. And I think then at some point there was a pivot made where the missions became about the shields more so, and now they're about the shields. They've got a little bit more of a fun way to deliberate who gets shields when. I think they've fixed that in a big way. We did have a very fun conversation though in the pod today, which I don't think has dropped yet, about the finale, the final mission, and how the final mission is still not the move. Guys, I had to explain to someone that they don't actually sleep in the castle. Oh yeah, Alex, hate to burst your bubble. They sleep in a hotel by the airport. It's like a Marriott or something, and they drive back and forth from the hotel. Which low-key, Traitors UK very clearly shows them all getting in cars and leaving for the night. Whereas in the US, they're like, oh, I'm going upstairs. Come on. What other English-speaking country would you like to see jump on the Traitors bandwagon? I feel like South Africa, we've not seen start their own season of the show yet. So that would be nice. That'd be good. But Ireland has their own now. We do know that. We got Ireland, we got UK, we've got New Zealand, we've got Australia, we've got US, we've got Canada. So we're fed real nice. And honestly, I'm willing to let's get everyone also to get celebrity seasons also. Let me just cover as many seasons as possible at this point. Even Kyle Kelsey said that she needed a team of Traitors to succeed. Yep. I think I'll watch Hungary season 1 sometime after US 4 ends. Hungary and India are the two franchises I want to tackle first. What's the point in that? I can't lie. Surely you can't get a good enough castle to sleep in. You can get a good enough castle to sleep in. It's not so much that as much as I think it's the castle's meant to be like the playground, if anything, and then they go back home at night, essentially. There was some rumblings about Traitors South Africa being a thing, but it got dropped. I think that's unfortunate. I just think it's a lot harder to, like, because I think there's a lot of moving parts with the castle. Like, could you imagine sleeping in this castle? I guess it depends how big the fucking castle is, because all I can think is like there's going to be a lot of production, a lot of footsteps, a lot of movement. Whereas I feel like there's probably a little bit of noise making to prevent any of the players from knowing who and which who are the traitors at night, essentially, at the hotel. And then it's like chill because they're filming off location. So it's like quiet and they can actually sleep, or it is just quiet. Whereas there's going to be a lot of loud noises happening in the hotel, in the castle constantly. Traders in an Asian country would go hard. Agree. King, I'll never catch up. Scally, we can do this together, Scally. We just got to both lock the fuck in and do it. Does it make sense that you said we see them go upstairs? That's where they sleep. How would they? Okay, all right, Sam, relax. Did Robsy confirm that the cast does their own hair and makeup every day because they are changing after breakfast and mission and still looking 100? I believe they do their own shit. Be straight. I believe all of it is done independently. I do not think there is a team to do this for them. I'm watching Traitors AU1 right now. Did you like that season? I did, I did. I think AU1, Aaron, without giving you any plot points away, I think for some people, it's their favorite season straight up. I think a lot of people love AU1. I like AU1. It's not in my top 5, but I still really like it, I think Lisa delivered because she's a soap actress. I think people forget that, but they just default her as a housewife. But her interaction in the Caroline murder and in her traitor reveal speech screamed soap star. Lisa was phenomenal. Lisa was absolutely phenomenal. Oh, new question in the forum. Hell yeah. Think about how much more fun it would be if people could stay up late hanging out down in the rooms and the traitors have to wait till they are sure everyone is in bed to meet. Pixie sticks. But then if you have someone like, and I don't think Morgan's still here. If you have someone like Morgad in that castle, the traitors ain't killing nobody. Because people are awake still by 8 a.m. I think that's the part. They have to be cut off. There has to be a cutoff because people like me who don't go to bed would not let you do murders. You would not be able to do shit. You would be locked in, barricaded from a murder. And like, could you imagine like the people who are like, Rob should have been a traitor. Where was Rob C as a traitor? I love Rob. Rob can't stay up past midnight. Rob can't do it. Rob will be fed up with this. Or I'll be like, fuck it. I don't care. Let them all stay alive. I'm going to bed. Oh my God. But that's be funny though. I read somewhere that the castle has a lot of areas that need remodeling, but if it were done, it could be a 30-bedroom castle. All right, but imagine booking the Traitors Castle for something. That'd be sick. How does the transporting to the hotel work with the Traitors meeting? Do they all just wait around until the turret is filmed? Do they all go to the hotel in separate cars so they don't know who's in the turret? I believe it's all separate cars. Yes. I imagine it's all separate cars and it's staggered. And it'll be like, all right, vehicle 12, clear. So then vehicle 13 can approach the parking lot of the hotel probably. Like, I think they do it like that. My assumption. I have no confirmation of it. Wasn't there talks of a Korean version of the Traitors? Am I tripping? I feel like I heard this, Gwen, and I feel like that would go hard as well. Certainly they have to be all separated so the Traitors can do their thing. That just seems more difficult. Who's better, Harry or Suri? Very tough question to answer, Sammy, for 2 reasons. One, Suri was a known entity on a season with people who knew she was a legend of Survivor. Counter to that, though, is also Suri had people on the cast that knew her. So she was able to play with them a little bit before, disposing of them and getting rid of them. Harry comes in, no one knows his threat level, is very much discounted, plays a very hard, a very good game, and actually nails the selling of other traitors at the right time with enough grace and with a lot less push to get the outcome he wants. They're a little bit different. They're very different in their realms. This is why I think it's infinitely hard to compare any US contestant with any UK contestant for me, just because of the civilian nature of one and the very celebrity nature of the other. But I think now if you put both of them on the same season, who would do better? That would be what I'm leaning on. And like, let's assume everyone knows both of their traitor games. Who outlasts the other? Or you put both of them on a brand new season as traitors again. Who does better? I'm not going to lie. I feel like maybe Suri does better. And that's only because we've seen Suri be on 5 or 6 different times and still excel every time. We've not seen Harry be on more than once and excel. So I would give the edge on Suri just because of the data we do have, which is how many times does she have to get to the end of a game for us to like be like, shit, she still got it, you know? But a very fun conversation all the same. RHAP event at the Traitors Castle when? Imagine. Did I just hear Pooya said that he's hosting RHAP? Okay, I did not say that. I did not say that. RHAP company team building in the Scottish Castle, that would go hard. I think Harry might be the best the more I think about it. Suri's cast was so dumb. The thing is, do we judge a player based on their strengths or their cast weaknesses? That's a metric that we have to decide which direction do we go. Because equally, I think season 2 of the UK had some dummies also. But I think that season 2, like the more further we get into the Traitors, there's less excuse for being in the dark about how the show is played, right? Season 1, it's like a little bit new. People don't quite know what to do yet. By season 3, season 4, it's like, okay, you got to at least have base knowledge of how this goes down, you know? Molly was so close to coming around while Quentin and Andy were totally snowed. She fully had these two fooled. They ended the game at 3. They ended the game at 3. But I will say, and at this point, you are getting, these are spoilers for Traitors UK a little bit, right? But I think that Harry masterfully made sure he was the last traitor standing, which I did appreciate. Manta Ray thing with the 5 months, appreciate you. If you got cast on the show, which host would you want to be for your season? Honestly, and I say this with absolute love, I don't think I can go wrong. Kareen, love. Alan, love. Claudia, love. Siobhan, I think, is the name of the Traitors Ireland host. Hold on. I really, or is it Siobhan? Yeah. She would be incredible also. Gotta pick one. Well, given that the only one I could realistically ever end up on is the US, I'm gonna say Alan then, because good social game right there. It's interesting because there's casts like New Zealand one that were very familiar with the format mechanics. I think it just shows how strong the Traitors New Zealand casting is, especially for faithfuls. New Zealand is incredible. I loved the cast of New Zealand both seasons. I'm sad that Claudia is leaving Strictly Come Dancing, so I'll only see her once a year. Is she really? Who's taking her spot for Strictly? Who's doing that? We don't know yet. Gotcha. All right, chat. Last call for the questions. And I think I want to skip on marbles tonight. And then next week we do a proper cheeky 10 marble rounds. To kick off February. We do a tenner, which I don't think we've done in a year, even. Claudia's getting a talk show? Oh, hell yeah, that's amazing. Now that's going to be fun right there. You've been practicing marbles all week? Well, that's good. You're going to be ready for next week then, especially. Ow, I heard my ankle crack. Do we know when this non-celeb US season will be yet? I don't know when it's going to premiere, no. My assumption is the fall? Because that makes more sense, because they wouldn't want to clash it with regular US. And I feel like it would probably go in the fall, like around when like 51 would be, I assume. Did they even film it yet? No, casting is still very much open for that season, I think. I've got a trivia fact right on my first and middle name that relates to reality TV. AJ, shoot, tell me. Might air around the same time as UK too. That makes sense to me. I'm curious what name they'll go with. What do you mean? For the show, you mean? Because yeah, this one is called the Traitors. The celeb one is the Traitors US regular. What do they call that other one? What do they call the other one? I don't know. I think they're gonna call it. So I'm on the website right now. I think they're gonna call it the Traitors USA. I think they're gonna call it the Traitors USA. Maybe. Don't quote me on that because it says on their page, apply now for the Traitors USA 2026. So that might be what they do. The Traitors USA 2026, the Traitors USA 2027. That could be a way they call it. Or they say it, you know? Article about Claudia. Thank you, May. New chat show on BBC One. Is that the same network that has about to say Edward Norton, but fuck, what's his first name? I'm blanking on his first name and it's Graham Norton. Thank you so much, Melissa. Yes, oh my god. Is that the same network? Welcome the biggest names from the worlds of film, television, and to our sofa for a lively conversation with the help of a studio audience. So it sounds like it's basically the Graham Norton show, which I'm not complaining about. I think both of them. Claudia will, yeah, she guest hosted Graham Norton show earlier this year. Oh, there we go, a little audition. Oh, is share my first name with 2 Survivor players, middle name with 2 Big Brother players. Only 2. The tough thing is I don't know everybody's names. Alex Joe? That sounds like it's not real. What would the second name be if it's not James? Josh. Alex Josh. Alex Josh Daniels. Kellyanne got middle. What did Kellyanne say? Joseph. Alex Joseph. We got, is it Alex Joseph or Aaron? The whole chat's involved now, AJ. Everyone wants to play this game. Oh, we got a couple of questions in the forum. I don't know what this means. Sorry to ask this in the forum, but my Twitch chat isn't working. I've tried closing out and restarting the app. Is there a way to see if I got timed out or banned for some reason? I definitely haven't said anything worthy of a timeout. Question asker, if you put your username into the form, though I'll keep the form open for you to do so if you're still listening. I can check and see who you are and see if you are banned or timed out or something. Who do you predict will get murdered or banished next week? I'm going to say Eric for the murder. And for the banished, I truly think we could see Colton leave here. Maybe delusional, but I do see that I could see Colton being the push here. Because the alternative is that they go Steven. But I don't think Steven goes out like this. Aaron is correct. Oh, shit. Tough because there's also 2 female friends with the name Aaron. Aaron Joseph. That sounds like not that it is, that sounds like a name to me. Band can't see chat, I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's no way. You were literally in here. Hold on. Yeah, no. Mods, C Daily, who's been in here, Can't see the chat, but see, you were here earlier. We were talking to you, like you were talking about stuff. I remember seeing you in here. You're not banned and you're not timed out, so I don't know what's going on. So what did you say in your message? You said Twitch chat isn't working and I've tried closing out and restarting the app. Is there a way to see if I got timed out and banned? Yeah, no, you haven't. I'm not sure why Twitch chat isn't working for you though. Thompson says it's a glitch. Liv says try refreshing. You have to ban then unban. Oh, Thompson, you have to ban unban. Hey, listen, Thompson, if something happens here, that's on you. All right, I banned C Daily and I unbanned C Daily. There we go. Jen just saw the gifted. A Jen, 50-month subscriber in the building, y'all. You can see chat, but you can't type. Well, I just banned and unbanned you. Now refresh and see if it works. Or not. If that didn't work, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Might just be a situation for today and the next stream you should be fine. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, chat, Goose Goose will be happening tomorrow as of right now. I believe I will be running Goose Goose. So get hyped. Sunday. Did I say tomorrow? I meant Sunday. Sunday. It's technically midnight for y'all, so it's allowed. I'm allowed to say, you know, Sunday. 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 Sunday, yes. No Pooya ball on Qatar? No. So tomorrow, I have quite a few things I actually do need to do. So I wouldn't be around. Also, I never got a text from Dwight about it this week, actually. You give me the pass? Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Do you think Rob tells Candace about the dagger? I think if Rob tells Candace about the dagger, Candace and Rob lock in and make it the final five before turning on each other. Here's my thing, Chris. I maintain what I said earlier today on socials. I think that the two of them together can be unstoppable and will be stronger than they are individually. I think they're both strong individually. I think they can be stronger than this. So call Dwight. Nah, we're not going to do that. I just don't see them if they would lock in, that would make me happy, because I think they should be able to put this behind them. Let that vote to Rob be a warning vote. Let Rob say, I'm down to work with you. Let's both work together. I just have a tough time to see it work that way, you know? Not Goose Goose 2 days in a row. No Goose Goose tomorrow. I'm busy tomorrow. We've got a lot of things happening tomorrow, chat. Also, I am not looking forward to the Royal Rumble being in the middle of the day tomorrow, but here's hoping at least it's a good Royal Rumble. Don't we already know the winner? I do not think it's happened yet. And also, I've avoided looking at every single thing. I've avoided looking at every single who could be back, who could be a surprise returnee. I'm going in so fucking blind that I cannot wait. So that's where I'm at. I saw a leaked winner. Ooh, see, I'm keeping a blind eye. Royal Rumble being on ESPN Ultimate versus Peacock stinks. I don't have ESPN, so I can't watch it there. But when it was on Peacock, I didn't hate it. It was fine. So. Before we end, can you explain House of Villains? I've not watched before, but I'm interested in watching Paw, oddly enough. Respawning. So House of Villains is the loosest reality TV show, competitive reality TV show that you can see. The games for power are very silly, very fun. It's a lot more, it's edited in a lot more goofy way. It's edited in the likeness of a 2000s reality TV show, but it is so fun. They fight because they're villains. They argue because they're villains. They get dramatic because they are villains, and it delivers every time because it's silly. We're not Marbsing today because we're doing a tenner next week, Mandy. That's where we landed. Pico was great because it was during Tristo. I had it right. Damn, the 22nd is quite the lineage. But yeah, Cheeky 10 next week. I want to watch some early season of Survivor to prep for 50. Not sure what I should start with. Let's see, May. How many to your... Okay, so what seasons of Survivor have you seen, May, in the past? Owen's got a list. Owen's got a list. Shannon's got a list also. But if you're prepping for the season, I feel like you should watch... There is a person from season 1, so watching season 1 is not a bad call. There's a person from season 2, also not a bad call. It depends on if you just want to watch the season with the people that are from the show in it. But I don't know what you've watched and not watched. You have a slightly different list. Okay. Yeah. I don't have a list per se. It just comes down to what exactly you're looking for. I say start at 37 if you've never seen any and shock the system with elite play, then go 1-2 and hit the ones you need for 50. Interesting. 37 is a beloved season of mine, so I wouldn't be mad at that. And I just the thing is, I don't pay attention enough to know, oh, don't watch this season because it's supposed this season. You know what I mean? You watch Rob's first season. I watched the first season. I've been watching all the seasons since David Goliath. Okay, so you have seen 37. Cool. So I would say okay, then I think low key, May, you can look at who has been on which seasons and go for those. So like season 2, Colby's there, so you can watch that. And then just go with that. I don't think there's a lot from there's like a few seasons of those bunch, and some of them do end up with each other on like repeat seasons. So, you know, going Panama, then like going All-Star, going Heroes Villain. Like I think you can jump around. A Cerise season 12. Panama is where you want to start then. Go Panama, then go 16, then go 20. Well, May's already seen season 1. She's seen season 1 and she's seen Rob's season. And then everything from David Goliath onwards. Welcome back, C Daily. You made it. All right, worked out. Turns out the ban method worked out. Panama is underrated classic. Panama is incredible. Panama was one of the pre-Micronesia season that I had seen before, you know, going back to watch them all. Oh, yeah, that was a different season, May. Panama is highly underrated. Hard agree. I had thoughts about a previous combo. They're gone now. That's fair. That's fair in the midst of all this. For future, though, if anyone wants to calm, they can drop it in the form in case they wanted to not forget it or something. If it's a fleeting idea, put in the form. Always trust in the form. All right. And on that note, though, I'm going to go ahead and close the form for tonight. We end the night at 4,810. fuck do I do this again? Oh, I remember. There we go. All right, chat. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I really do appreciate it. Hope you had fun with me. I'll be back, like I said, on Sunday. Okay. We're going to be getting involved with some Goose Goose, the return of Goose Goose after a week off. And so we'll go from there. See where we land after the fact. And yeah, hope you have fun. Hope you have fun. I almost feel like, of course, chat, I got you. I'm happy you had fun. I'm happy you had fun tonight. It's always a delight for me. I can talk to chat forever. Y'all know this. We have a good time here. And honestly, I think it's been, like, I think for me, moving into a earlier time with Central Time has been nice. It's allowed me to be more energized in these conversations. I don't know who Puglia is, but thank you, Pixie. No, I'm kidding. It's all good. I know it's a typo. Often check in late on a Friday, but it's still a good time. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you for checking in. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate y'all coming through every week, whether it's Goose Goose, whether it's to just watch the Traitors or to pull up for the the pad. It means a lot to me. I'm happy and proud that I've been able to do this for just about 6 years now. We're getting there. 5.5 for now. It wouldn't be possible without y'all. So thank you so much. I'm happy the content is still worthy of your time. And I can't wait to do more and say more and make more. All right, y'all. Take care. Have a good one. I will see you Sunday.